Good morning, everyone. Today is April the 11th, 2012. Moving on with some news connecting Bible prophecy with current events. And I'd like to invite you to go to my website. You'll see it up here, BibleProphecyMan.com. Let's get right into the news. Today I gave you some information about a huge earthquake that hit. Now we're going to get into another prophecy. And this one is in Matthew chapter 24, verse 6, where the Lord instructs us, again, one of the signs of the last days, and he says this, "And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." So we're supposed to keep our eyes on the news for wars and even the rumors of wars, which we have been seeing a lot of news lately about these wars and rumors of wars, especially when it comes to the Middle East and the wars that they're saying that is going to come up soon, involving the PLO in Israel, Iran in Israel, and today's news you'll hear some more wars and rumors of wars about the possible war with North Korea as they send off their missile or their rocket today that's supposed to be a satellite, but there's always that potential for war because the United States and other nations believe that it isn't a satellite, that it may be a provocation. And so everybody's tiptoeing around what the North Koreans are doing now with that. But I'm going to turn my attention here, first of all, to what's going on in Sudan, because we know that Sudan, southern Sudan, they do have oil fields. And in January of this year, Isaiah chapter 18 was actually fulfilled. Because Sudan was divided into two nations, just like the prophet said. And now the northern half of Sudan is predominantly Muslim, where the southern half is predominantly Christian. And the southern half has the oil. And so now that there's contention between the north and the south, and there's a possibility that we'll have more conflicts in Sudan over the oil issue. So that is one of the rumors that we're starting to hear. Now, one of the main topics that I've been giving for many, many months now, because we're seeing so much news, has to do with these two wars that haven't been fulfilled yet. And the first one would be the Psalm 83 war, of which all the bordering nations around Israel is involved in against Israel, and you'll see all the names 1 through 10, who they are, and modern day names to the right hand here. And then the second war, Ezekiel chapter 38, you'll read that in chapter 39 as well. This is the second war that will be taking place after this Psalm war, of which the Russians will be leading an attack against Israel. And of course you'll know that Iran is involved, and Turkey's involved, and Ethiopia is going to be involved, and Libya, and some of these other nations that Ezekiel shows us. Now, one thing that I found very interesting, and it has to do with the feast, the Jewish feast, or the Jewish holidays, if you will. And as you know, there are 7 feasts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For those feasts, the Jewish holidays, the spring feast, have been fulfilled literally by Jesus Christ. And we believe that as Jesus fulfilled the first 4 spring festivals, or the feast, then he is going to also fulfill the rest on those very days of the feast, or the fall holidays. Now, the next one will be taking place, you'll see at the fall holidays, is the Feast of Trumpets. Now this, Rosh Hashanah, if you will, and this could happen where the church may be taken out of the way at this point. Nobody knows for sure, but every September when it rolls around, we believe that there is the possibility that the church may be raptured out, during this Feast of Trumpets, because this is where the trumpets are blown. And 1 Corinthians chapter 15, you could read it in verse 51 through 53. Well, this is an indication where the trumpets are blown and the Lord removes the church. They'll be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, and brought into heaven. So the next time that happens, you'll see it on Monday, September 17th, 2012. So every time we get really close to these feasts, the false feast, I really pay close attention to what's going on in the news. And what is happening in the news in relation to a war or a possible war is that according to the news sources on Tuesday, that the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu refused to comment before U.S. President Barack Obama that Israel would not attack Iran before the U.S. presidential elections. Netanyahu agreed to wait with an Israeli military move only until early fall, the fall season. Now, the fall season, you're getting back in now to the Feast of Trumpets. You're getting very, very close to the Feast of Trumpets. Netanyahu agreed to supposedly hold off during this early season. So it goes on to say that the paper on its website, citing American sources, this appears to indicate an attack would take place in October. But what if, not wanting to give away the exact date of an Israeli attack against Iran, that they did launch an attack in September around the Feast of Trumpets? Is it possible that during this war that the Lord may call his church out? Well, I'm not going to dismiss it. I can't say for sure that this is going to happen. But since Jesus fulfilled all of the spring holidays to the very day, there is that possibility that he may do the same thing with the fall festivals, and that's why I'm paying close attention to when they talk about Israel going to war with Iran. Now, if they did go, if Israel struck out and they didn't go in October, but they went in September when the Feast of Trumpet is played out, then you really need to pay attention, because you never know. It might be that the Psalm 83 war will be kicked off because Israel attacks Iran. And there is that possibility. You read in the news, if you do a Google search, you'll see that the Hezbollah and the PLO and Israel's enemy, who are named in the Psalm 83, said that if Israel were to attack Iran, they would attack Israel. So there is that possibility that if Israel does strike at Iran sometime around either September or October, and I believe that if the Lord is going to fulfill those, the Feast of Trumpets, that again, it is the possibility that it could kick off Psalm 83 war and possibly even take the church out of the way, or the rapture of the church. Only God knows for sure, but I do know this. The Lord said to be on the watch always. And that means, yes, we see these events taking place. We see the wars, the rumors of wars. We see it in the news all the time. And there is, again, the possibility that one of these wars is going to usher in major prophecies that could fulfill the Feast of Trumpets. So just pay attention to what's going on around you. The Lord has given us specific events to look for, and since the Psalm 83 war hasn't been fulfilled, and neither the Ezekiel war, we know that those two wars are coming up very, very soon. So take it for what it's worth.